entertainment and intellectual property attorney Stephanie Hay here, and welcome to our trademark series entitled S.C.R.E.M. In this trademark series, we will be talking about the 5 elements that it takes to register and protect your mark. S.C.R.E.M is an acronym. It stands for Selection, Clearance, Registration, Enforcement, and Maintenance. This is going to be a 4-part series. I'm going to combine maintenance and enforcement together, but all the other videos will be separate. So follow along. I hope you enjoy. Please like, share, and subscribe, and let's get into it. What's up, guys? Entertainment attorney and intellectual property attorney Stephanie Hay here. And today we are doing our first installment of our trademark series entitled S.C.R.E.M. So starting off with the S, we are doing selection. How do we go about selecting your mark in order to move forward in the trademark process? That's what we're talking about today. So let's get started. First, we want to talk about what is a trademark. A trademark is the protection of goods or services. It is the creation of goodwill in your particular brand, right? So when you look at your major national brands, what they have trademarked is the goodwill, what you recognize them for. And when you go buy that Nike product or that Apple product, you're going to them because you feel like you may be getting quality. You're getting, let's say if you're talking about Nike, you're going to get reliable sportswear, things of that nature. So that's what they're associating your brand with when we start talking about what is a trademark. It is the protection of a good or service that is related to the goodwill of that particular product, okay? So in making that selection, you want your product and the consumer to relate your goods to your product and to your logo or to your name. So that's what you're protecting when we go about protecting a trademark. Examples of trademarks are services or goods. A service mark, for example, can be something like American Express. American Express provides credit card services, and so that's what you know their brand for. Another example of a service mark might be the MGM Lion's Roar. When you hear that roar at the beginning of a movie, you're getting the movie production quality that you would expect in all of the other films that they put out, okay? Versus a good. When you start talking about the protection of a good, the protection of a good comes along when you're looking at, for instance, again, that Apple product. You know what you're getting when you get the Apple Watch or the iPhone. Those things are associated with a good. Apple is a service or is a good provider. So they're providing those goods for you to purchase. And that's what you're looking at when you start talking about the brand. So those are just a few examples of the things that fall under what can be trademarked, a good or service. And it is based on the goodwill that the consumers look for when going out there and spending their dollars. Next, we want to be distinct. There is a spectrum of distinctiveness that comes along with the trademark. You want to be distinct because in being distinct, the more distinct you are, the stronger your mark is. In the world of trademark, we talk about the spectrum of distinctiveness. You go from general and descriptive to fanciful and arbitrary. When we're talking about general and descriptive, you don't want your mark to be general and descriptive. That is the easiest way for your application to get denied and you to be pushed to what we consider the supplemental registry. And that's something we can talk about in a later video, but just know in selection of your mark, you want that mark to be more fanciful or arbitrary than it ever is going to be general or distinctive. When you hear the term general or distinctive, that's talking about things that would be, if we're talking about a carpet cleaning service company, you're looking to trademark that. That is so general that they are words that are so common in the English language that nobody should have the right to exclusively use them or own them in a particular category. So the trademark office is not going to let you trademark those types of words. Same thing when you start talking about descriptiveness. If it's truly just descriptive, like chocolate ice cream, those are things that are descriptive about the particular good. Again, you want to be distinct so that the consumer knows exactly what you're doing in a sense when you're trying to protect your mark. Those marks are not going to be as protectable as things that are arbitrary and fanciful. Things that are arbitrary and fanciful are like Uber. Nobody knew what an Uber was until we knew what an Uber was. Same thing with Apple. You want it to be so not against what you may necessarily be selling or the goods or services that you may be providing, that it makes it unique in those particular categories, okay? And then, of course, you have your middle ground, which is suggestive. When we start talking about suggestive marks are pretty strong as well, because guess what? Although they may directly relate to whatever your goods or services are, they make people use their imagination when trying to determine what this is associated with. So a good example of that is greyhound. Greyhound in itself is, some people may associate it with a type of animal, but even in the association with the type of animal, that animal is fast. We're talking about mass transportation. So if you make those two connections, the Greyhound bus service may make sense, right? It makes you use your imagination and create some form of an analogy to make it make sense. Those things are suggestive, and that creates a strong mark. So in that space, when you're selecting your mark, you want to be suggestive, which is the middle ground, or arbitrary and fanciful, so you can create the strongest level of protection possible. Things that are more generic or descriptive, A, may not make it through the registration process, and B, are hard to protect because they are so common in general in the marketplace, okay? Hey, what's up, y'all? I hope you're enjoying the content. If you are, please like, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And let's get back into it. The next thing we want to talk about is deceptiveness. You do not want to be deceptive when you are creating your mark and describing it or putting it out there for the universe. So deceptive means, for instance, when you create a mark and you're using terms that do not necessarily properly represent the mark. So for instance, clean adhesive, or clear adhesive rather. If the adhesive you're using for whatever this product is not actually clear, that's deceptive, right? You want to tell the truth in creating and describing your mark, so that when somebody looks at it, they don't assume based on the terms that you have used that it is one thing, when really, in fact, it is not actually that type of product, okay? So be truthful. Another example of that is vegans. If you're using the term vegan in any of your in your branding, it actually needs to be vegan. We've had trademarks come back that are using the terms vegan, and we are asked oftentimes, okay, explain exactly how they are vegan, so that we are making sure that we're classifying it properly and that we are not deceiving the consumer when we're using the term vegan, but not actually practicing the vegan practices that make it vegan, okay? So be truthful in your terms as you're coming up with what your brand is going to represent, because that's going to be important. In the trademark office, ask those types of questions to verify that you will not be then deceiving the consumer, okay? Okay, and finally, just a bonus tip for you to know. In spelling, when you're selecting your name and you're trying to figure out how something is spelled, people oftentimes change up the normal spelling of words in an effort to be creative. You can be as creative as you want to be. That's not the problem. The issue comes in when you are being creative and there's another brand also using that same term. The trademark office is going to do a search, of course, and we'll talk about that soon. And when they do that search, they're going to search the name in its natural dictionary spelling. You can add a Z to the end. You may be using a word that is traditionally spelled with a C and you're using a K. You may do all of those things in your own unique way to express your brand, but just note that the trademark office is going to go back to the original terminology to verify its availability. So don't do it in an effort to be deceptive, because you may know that there's another brand out there that is similar to yours that may also be doing the same thing, and you believe it's a way to change over or make it seem different than the original brand. They're going to look it up and it's going to be the one of the same thing. So if hello is a part of your brand and you're using aloha, they're going to look up hello just like they're going to look up aloha to figure out if somebody is using that same terminology in your same class. So keep that in mind as you're also selecting what your name is going to be, okay? I hope that helps. Hit the link in my bio for a free 10-minute consultation. I look forward to working with you soon. Bye.